I want to get into what's next for Teofimo Lopez, because even though I don't think he won this fight apparently. Okay, he didn't lose it. So what is next for Teofimo Lopez after beating Jamaine Ortiz? Bryan, what's next for him?
I mean, Keyshawn Davis wants a piece of him. I don't think that's going to happen, but Keyshawn Davis
What was
wants
that
him.
about? What was that? That was out of nowhere. That was like Kanye. Just it was just what? Like,
So
because we saw
Keyshawn,
the exchange. We saw the. You go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, so Keyshawn Davis, we can get into the video if we want, but Keyshawn Davis was on the co-feature for people who may have only seen the main event. He, prior to this bout, beat the shit out of Jose Pedraza, fellow Puerto Rican who probably should retire. Great career, multiple time world champion, but he got his ass whooped. And it was in the 6th round, and Keyshawn Davis, it was probably his most complete performance so far against his toughest test so far, I would say. And then after the fight, he calls out Teofimo Lopez, says that he's willing to come up to 140 pounds and do it. He is currently a rising star in the lightweight division, where Teofimo Lopez was once a rising star in the lightweight division. And he was very adamant about this and had like a tone to him, like an angry sort of like they're beefing type of tone. This comes out the day after, a video comes out where they're talking to each other and it trying to like handle some business, so to speak. And then he calls out Emmanuel Navarrete as an aside, just very, very nicely, respectfully. But yeah, I don't think Keyshawn Davis is going to fight Teofimo Lopez next. I'd watch the shit out of that fight. I don't think that's where Top Rank is going to go next. But I'm open to being wrong on that.
I would be really down for Keyshawn Davis and Navarrete. I think that would be a great fight, because Navarrete does get hit a lot. And what we saw Keyshawn Davis do to a guy like Jose Pedraza, who I'm really high on, I have always been, because I think he's a really great boxer. The performance he put on was really impressive. So, okay, so you're saying what would be next for him? Like, if you could map out Teofimo Lopez, you're saying he needs a knockout, but who is he going to fight next in the division?
We're going to pull up BoxRec right now, and we're going to go through some of the best names, because I'll tell you what, there's rumors about Ryan Garcia fighting Devin Haney next, and I think that's
I'm
good.
down for that.
I think that's good. I don't think Teofimo Lopez should be fighting Devin Haney next, because I now think that while before it was like, oh, who's the best at 140? Like Devin Haney has a spot now. Teofimo Lopez down here. Devin Haney has that spot.
after one fight, Teofimo Lopez is down here.
Yeah. He's number two. He's number two. He's number 2 in the weight class. It's fine. I'm looking at the list. I wouldn't feel great about Teofimo Lopez fighting Subriel Matias next.
No, I don't. He doesn't want that. But he doesn't want that.
Because remember, that was the rumor before, like, oh, they're going to do it Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend. And if I'm Subriel Matias and I'm watching this fight now,
isn't Matias set to fight somebody else that just came out in Puerto Rico?
Nothing's official yet, it seems. But we'll see. There's nothing official yet. But I know the thing about that matchup is interesting, because Teofimo Lopez clearly wants a firefight.
Yeah.
Subriel Matias would give him that. I think Subriel Matias would give him too much of a firefight, and he might put him on his ass. Yeah.
Wait, shut up. Ace just left us some dollars. Thank you for the bread, Ace. Yeah, we go to your comments right away, Ace, for the rest of the night. Sherm Show, we're going to get to you too. If there was a tournament for 140, who would you guys have in the semifinals? And I just want to say I love this channel. I'll come through when I can. Thank you very much, Ace. We appreciate you. Going back to our boy Sherm, because remember, if you give us bread, we're going to go to your comments right away. Sherm Show, Ortiz is a better boxer than Taylor. Taylor loves exchanges. Teo struggles with lateral movement. Taylor doesn't have that. That's true, because you don't see Taylor doing that very much, right?
He tries to bully you. Josh Taylor does, which he didn't have success with. Let's go back to Ace, because I want to actually play this out, because I love tournaments. Love tournaments. As somebody who's a wrestling fan, just love tournaments. So there was a tournament for 140. Who would you guys have in the semifinals? So we're assuming this is a 4-person tournament. Devin Haney, in no particular, I'm not doing the matchups yet, but Devin Haney has to be there. Teofimo Lopez has to be there. Subriel Matias has to be there, because those are the 3 best champions. Rolly Romero is a champion.
No, don't put him in there. Not in the semis. No.
I'm putting Regis Prograis in there still.
Yep.
So I would have Teofimo Lopez versus Regis. No, I would have Teofimo Lopez versus Subriel. And no.
You had Devin versus Subriel, Teo
yes.
versus Regis. That's what it would be.
Yes.
Right. Because I think for fifth, whenever Jose Ramirez gets back in the ring or Arnold Barboza Jr., I think there's a spot for fifth. Where is Ryan Garcia in all of this?
Not as good as those four.
No, he's not. But I think,
I would say.
You know what? I would love to see Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez fight. I think that would be a massive fight. I don't think it happens before Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I hope that fight happens because those two have been saying they want to go at it. But if I'm taking a look, going back to Sherm Show, because if you give us bread, we go to your comments. Yeah, be an interesting fight.
Here's a good one. Does Ryan Garcia beat Richardson Hitchens?
I think it's a close fight, but I think Ryan can get it done. Yes.
I think
that's a tough fight for him.
I think Hitchens might counterpunch him to death and give him some problems.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Ryan's power and speed.
Okay, you know how Subriel Matias is the boogeyman in this weight class in terms of power? I think Richardson Hitchens is kind of the boogeyman in this weight class in terms of his defense and counterpunching ability. I think he could give a lot of guys problems.
But that's why I don't think he'll get those fights.
Not yet, no.
It's a risky fight. Yeah, it's a risky fight for any of those guys at the top. For me, I think it's a time for Teofimo Lopez to possibly fight a guy like Arnold Barboza Jr. because these guys have been going. Also, yeah, these guys have been going at it for a while now. There was talk when Arnold was at Top Rank, and Teo's kind of at Top Rank. We don't really know what's going on with him. He's kind of everywhere, but I think he's still promoted by Top Rank. Don't know the situation. These two need to fight each other. The dads were going at it. This is a fight where I think Arnold could use. And I think if Teo was to have a good performance against Arnold, then we'd be talking about him a little bit more because Arnold's undefeated. And he looked good in his last fight.
Yeah, it's just, I wonder now that he's left Top Rank, Top Rank would have to get with Golden Boy and try to make that happen. So I'm actually thinking all right, promotionally, what are Top Rank's options here? Is because they had the 140 division and then everybody up and left. To the zone side of the world. Jose Ramirez is now there as well. And I'm looking at sort of the list of possible guys and
give me Jose Ramirez and Teofimo Lopez. That's a tough ass fight. That's a good fight.
Jose is also with Golden Boy now too.
That's true. Everyone's at Golden Boy.
Oscar's
raking them in, man. And he was there though. He was there though. I didn't Teofimo Lopez. If I saw what I saw on social media, wasn't he kicking it at Oscar De La Hoya's home the other day? And then Oscar De La Hoya was there ringside, go Teo. Listen, I think there can be fights that can be made. Let's go back to Ace_317 team. Sherm Show will get to your comment. Haney versus Matias, Teofimo versus Richardson Hitchens would be the matchups for me. Very, very good fights. I don't think anyone wants to fight Subriel Matias. It's hard for me to say this, but I just don't think he's going to get any of those fights because nobody wants to fight him because he's so scary.
I think Subriel and Richardson Hitchens will be the most avoided fighters in this division.
Hitchens versus Jose Ramirez would be great right now. I agree. Yes. Both top 10 at 140 and winner could take that last fight. I'm still kind of hoping that Ramirez and Arnold Barboza Jr. fight because I think they have the same manager, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's an easy fight to make. Because
both I think Golden Boy now, they have the same promotional company too.
But I do think at this point, Teofimo Lopez is not going to take a small fight. I think he's going to have he wants a big payday and wants a massive fight. And I think it should go down. It's obviously, I don't think it's going to happen in June because that's too close for Puerto Rican Day Parade that weekend. I think it could happen Heisman night in December unless Teo wants to stay busy.
June's not that. June's 4 months. You could make that happen. I don't. I'm Teofimo Lopez. I'm staying away from Subriel Matias. Also of note, Richardson Hitchens does have a fight coming up against Gustavo Lemos, April 6th. Your boy Diego Pacheco is on that card too.
Yeah, I'm very high on him.
That's gonna be very fun.
So before we get up out of here, and we're gonna get to your comments, so keep them coming. Final thoughts, Bryan. What is next for Teofimo Lopez? What is next for Jamaine Ortiz? Quickly, and if you could pick any guy to fight Teofimo Lopez right now, who are you picking? You can only pick one.
Now, if you're asking me in terms of realistic or just fantasy, like I can pick
realistic.
Okay,
realistic.
Because my fantasy pick would have been like
Bud Crawford. Mine would have been Bud. Bud was talking smack.
But
let me read out the tweet for everyone on the show right now. I got a kick out of it because I was like reading it before we got on here. This is hilarious. I just saw another one that he had. All right, Terrence Crawford tweeted, "Talked all that shit about me and lost. Like I told him, focus on who you fighting, not me." At Teofimo Lopez, back to the drawing board. You go, chump. And then Devin Haney tweeted, "The king of 140 with the crown." And then Terrence Bud Crawford tweets again, "He got a gift and he know it. That's why he's crying." Oh, that's great. I'm sorry. I love that stuff right there. That was great. I love the Twitter beef. So Bryan, if you could pick anybody, who are you picking?
Realistically, we're doing.
Yes.
Shit,
you can give two names for you, what path you think he could go on, because I feel like we've talked about what's next for him, but we haven't given like a clear-cut answer.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at the list of like potential realistic options, because none of the best guys are on Top Rank anymore. So it makes this a little challenging, and you're unclear about the sort of promotional situations of whoever. Like, I'd like to see, and I don't think this is out of the realm of possibility, because I don't even know where PBC is at this point, but they've made fights with ESPN guys before. I'd like to see him get the winner of Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz. Why not? Why not? Yeah. I think either way, like that's an interesting fight. The Subriel Matias one will probably be my favorite. And God,
isn't he with PBC though? Still,
I'm the PBC shit is very like it's unclear who's still going to be there, right? Yeah. Like it's just this is boxing, people. Like yes, you would think everyone would know whatever, but like. Guys can ultimately do what they want, and contracts in any form of business, they're made to be broken. So like, it doesn't really matter like who's where and in some level for, outside of like 10% of people, like Gervonta Davis, we know where he is. Terrence Crawford is his own man. Canelo Alvarez, he has a PBC deal, but he's kind of his own man. Like guys can move around as they please in some respect. Ace asked, would you guys rather see Haney versus Matias or Teofimo versus Matias? Teofimo versus Matias is my answer.
That's more of a banger. Yeah. I think that would be more of an interesting fight. Ace, just giving us compliments here. I love the banter too, Shantelle. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I love the back and forth when they're going at it on Twitter. Let's go back.
This is a funny ass comment, and we have not put Lawrence on the show yet. So let's see. Jamaine Ortiz should fight Shakur in a baseball field-sized boxing ring so they can run as long as there is land to run.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? That ring would be huge, yo. That's hilarious.
Lawrence, you know how big baseball fields are, bro? We would be watching a track meet. You know what I mean? Which, the Olympics are coming up. So track is one of my favorite things to the Olympics.
Here's the thing that I think about that. It's like, I understand people are like, he's running. Lawrence, I get it. It can be boring at times, but it's so tactical and it's part of a game plan that I like it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm being difficult. Like, I love that stuff about boxing. It's so tactical. So like, I know people hate it. And I know people, there's people that hated Money Mayweather style. They thought it was boring at times. I loved it.
You need some offense, though, is the thing that some people
can't be.
Like. Yeah, you have to throw a little bit, Edwin de los Santos.
Let's go back to Sherm Show though, really quick, because
yes.
Come on, you donated Sherm, so we go back to your time. Let Matias fight that old man Barroso as a tune-up after that hand injury. Old man got the power to test him. Yeah,
banger.
Yeah. And isn't he's Colombian, right?
Yes.
Ishmael Barroso. Yeah. So that'd be great.
Wait. Might be
Venezuela. Am I wrong? Oh, he could be Venezuelan. Okay, yeah.
He's Venezuelan.
I mean, that's great. Puerto Rico, Venezuela. I'd be down for that.
Subriel might put that dude into retirement, but I would love to see that fight for sure.
So as we kind of wrap up here, so did you even answer the question?
Yeah. I said in terms of Teofimo fantasy opponents, I think you can actually make it work where he fights the winner of Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz. Subriel Matias would probably be my favorite, and I feel like that fight is actually obtainable. They've negotiated already, reportedly. Like they've negotiated already. So actually, that should really be the number one. But I think Subriel Matias could really win that fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm gonna go with Ace 3117 because I say this on the show all of the time because anyone that watches the show knows this. I love going for LA Mexican boxers. That's just what I do. The Cali roots, and I love my Mexican style boxing. I want to see Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barbosa Jr. I think there's a way that Top Rank and Golden Boy could possibly make it happen. If that doesn't happen, I think there is a path because Devin Haney is kind of like his own boss. He goes anywhere. So maybe later down the line in December, if Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia doesn't happen, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney would make a lot of sense to me. That's a massive fight, blockbuster fight can happen before the end of the year. And I think that's a fight a lot of people would want to see. And there's always back and forth with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. And if I'm watching tonight's fight, I think Devin Haney wins 117, 111, and it's a real damn scorecard of a win against Teofimo Lopez. So, you know, those would be my two picks. I want him to fight Arnold Barbosa Jr. because if Arnold has a good fight against Teofimo Lopez, that's good. That's good for Arnold. You know what I mean? A guy that's very underrated in the division. And then if Teofimo Lopez ends up having a crazy fight against Arnold Barbosa Jr., then we're talking about Teo again, like, yo, he pieced him up. But that's a fight that I think needs to happen because there's some beef there as well, right? There's a little bit of beef there as well. So it's like, that makes sense. And I'm going to throw Regis in there too, because I think Regis can beat Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, okay. Just dropping a bomb toward the end of the show. I mean, listen, I think there's people that would agree with you. I think there were people that would have said you're crazy following Regis Prograis' performance against Devin Haney leading up.
But after this performance?
But after this,
Regis can take the blueprint and he'll be a lot more active in the second half of the fight, right? They're both power punchers, and I'm not counting out Regis just yet because Devin Haney's that good.
Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez are clearly the best two in this weight class. I still think even after Regis's performance against Devin Haney, like he's one win away from being right there all over again, which is why I actually think Regis Prograis should fight Arnold Barbosa or Jose Ramirez. Like, these top 10-ish dudes that we're talking about all need to fight each other, which is where we always come back to in the sport, and not enough of these dudes fight each other. And I just want to say, like, Jamaine Ortiz real quick, if we can spend a couple minutes on him before we get out of here. Jamaine Ortiz, like, this sucks because now he has 2 decision losses on his record that you can make the case, especially for the second one, that should have been a draw, could have even gone his way. I really hope that he is not promoted as a gatekeeper. I hope that he gets a real opportunity to get a title. He's good enough. Clearly, he's proven this twice already. Good enough to compete for a championship at championship level. This was a title shot for him at 140. I think he could beat Rolly Romero right now. Yeah. I think there are other guys in this division that I think he could beat right now that are top flight. He is a really, really good fighter. Just think he needs to be more active and finish fights stronger. But Jamaine Ortiz is really good, and I hope that he is promoted well and given real opportunities to win the title from here on out because he deserves it and he's good enough.